Hi, so today we're going to quickly talk about setting up SAML single sign-on so that an application user who has an Active Directory Azure AD account can authenticate into VerityBeyond using single sign-on. So this will allow users to log into the application using their Microsoft Active Directory login ID without having to provision a new local identity within VerityBeyond. Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about today. So the first thing that you have to do is that you have to set up a you have to onboard your application as an enterprise application within Azure. So you log into Azure, and then you're going to click on Microsoft EntraID. Then you're going to come, if you look at the left-hand corner, you will see enterprise applications. So here you'll click on new application, you specify an app. So basically what you do is that you'll select, you see on the top, there's a button that says create your own application. So you're going to do that, and then here you'll just specify your app. So let's say I want to call it VerityBeyond GRC. BPM. And then you're going to say integrate any other application you don't find in the gallery. Okay, and then you click on. So what you want to call your app, if it's the BPM app, just call it VerityBeyond-BPM. If it's the CX app, you can just call it VerityBeyond-CX. That is necessary because the federated XML file that's going to get generated is going to key off the name. So just to avoid confusion, just call it VerityBeyond-BPM. You can also add the name of your company. Like for example, if your company is called Acme, you can add your company name. You can even add the environment if it's a dev environment, or if it's a test, or if it's a prod, right? So just give it a naming convention with your company name and the environment, okay? So I'll just call it VerityBeyond-BPM. And then I will click on, and then you make sure that integrate any other application you don't find in the gallery, and click on create. So that's going to create an empty application. I'm not actually going to fill that out. I will show you what it looks like, and then I'll rewind and show you one that we already created, and you'll see how easy it is to set up. So just give us a few seconds. Okay, so now it's set up the application. So the first thing you'll do is you'll go to assign users and groups. Here you'll specify the name of the AD group that you want to onboard. So users who have this AD group will automatically get access to the application. So I will recommend that you specify a user group, create an AD group, maybe an Azure AD group, and then the way you'll grant your users access to the app is that users who get access to the AD group will get access to the app. So that's the first thing you want to do. Then after you've done that, then you're gonna go back, and then you can also specify access to the application by just directly specifying end users. But the AD group typically is the best practice. That where you're onboarding users into the app using an Active Directory group. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to click on Set Up Single Sign-On. So you come here, and then once you select on Set Up Single Sign-On, you're going to go to the SAML method that is what you want to select, because SAML is the standard through which we authenticate. So the identity provider, which is Azure, the users will log into Microsoft AD to authenticate there. Once they get authenticated, Azure is going to send a SAML payload from Azure to the web application. So that's what SAML is. So SAML here, you have to specify some input parameters. The first is you want to specify the entity ID, your reply URL. Most of these are going to be left alone, right? You don't usually have to change these, but you have to change 1 and 2. And then once you specify that, the last thing you're going to have to do is you're going to download the Federation metadata XML. So I'm not going to fill all that out here. What I'll do is I will show you an application that I previously onboarded, and it's going to follow the same pattern. You specify your users, you go to the second step, which is set up single sign-on, and then for VerityBeyond, this is what it looks like here. You'll specify the entity ID, which this is going to be the name of your VerityBeyond application. So usually it'll be the name of your company or the name of your business and the environment.veritybeyond.com, and all of this will be the same. The reply URL will be the name of your company.veritybeyond.com, and then this is what will be passed to the endpoint. And then once that is set up, there will be the download button for the Federation metadata XML will now be available. That you will click, and then you download the it'll make you download the SAML authentication, and then with that SAML authentication, basically what it is it's basically a security key that will allow Azure to trust the service provider. Very important. Don't share that with anyone. Make sure you download it to a secure place, and then you will import it into your VerityBeyond. So you're going to log into VerityBeyond, and then you're going to log into Cloud Access. All right, and here you come here, go to Cloud Access, and then go to Advanced Cloud Integrations. And then here you're going to see Azure Cloud EntraID SSO SAML setup. You click Open. Here you're going to specify the name of the ID of your tenant. I'm just going to put a fictitious number. And then it's going to say Choose File. So here when you click on Choose File, you would choose the SSL certificate that you downloaded from this step. Where it says Federation metadata XML. That downloads an XML key. It's the trust XML key that has all the certificate information that builds a trust between the service provider and the identity provider. The service provider in our case is going to be VerityBeyond. The identity provider is going to be Azure. So you basically import the SSL certificate over the cloud, and that's pretty much it. Once that is set up, your users will automatically authenticate using Active Directory as the default authenticator. And then once you set up Azure, Azure will give you a login URL, which is what you will give to your users to log in. So if you go to Properties, it's gonna be the user access URL, basically this one right here. That is what you're gonna give to your application users to log in to the app, and that basically points them to your AD over the cloud. They authenticate with your Azure AD, and then that will send them to VerityBeyond after they authenticate. In the same way, when they log out, it will redirect them. It'll log them out of the application and send them back to Azure once again. So that's pretty much it. I want to keep this nice, short, and sweet. Thank you so much for your time. If you have any needs or questions around SAML authentication, either for VerityBeyond, or if you have a use case where you're developing an application, a web application, and you need a SAML authentication expertise to build out the integration between Azure and your application, you can also reach us. We also specialize in building out custom EntraID solutions to allow users to authenticate with Azure seamlessly so that your AD accounts can give you provisioning. Also, we also provide access. I remember we talked about how you can use roles, AD groups. So when you stand up all your web applications, typically you would grant the access to those applications using AD groups. So we have another solution that we support called SailPoint, It allows you to pretty much build out that role structure so that your users can authenticate into your various applications using AD groups. So SailPoint has another solution, which I've demoed before, called Identity IQ. They also have another cloud offering called Identity Now. And those products pretty much allow you to create the provisioning for your end users into these applications. So we can support you not just with VerityBeyond, but with also provisioning as a whole, access management. So thanks so much for your time. You have a good day. Bye.